Shit.
What's up, guys? Today I want to talk about a problem that I know a lot of you are having, and that is unclogging the mouthpiece and heating chambers from devices like the Atmos RX, Atmos Junior, and some of your Yocan devices. Now there's a lot to cover here, so first I want to talk about what causes clogs first, just so you can kind of help prevent this from happening in the first place. So first of all, not cleaning your devices regularly will cause them to clog faster. If you're using your device, you want to, pack what you need, use it up, and then clean it out after you finish using it. You don't want to just leave it in there. You don't want to have anything that's unused left in the chamber just sitting there. Just clean it regularly, and that'll help a lot. If you're cleaning it regularly, the cleaning brush is going to be your best bet. Just obviously take it into the chamber, brush it out gently. You don't want to disturb the heating coil too much, and even, just tapping out what's left over in the chamber can usually work if the device has used up everything that's inside of it. For this video, I'll assume that you're past the point of the cleaning brush providing any help, so I'll just set it aside and we'll talk about how to clean it using some of these other things you see here on the table. But going back to what can cause the clogs, if you're switching between wax and herbs, that can cause it to clog up faster. The combination of the oily wax and then the herbs is just going to sort of mix up and just be a harder thing to clean out. Also remember, putting in too much wax or herbs at once is going to lead to more of a clog. So you don't really need to, cram your chamber full of herbs or wax. Just a little bit goes a long way, so just put a modest amount in and that'll help you reduce some of the clogging. Going back to not overpacking with herbs, you'll notice that here's my Atmos mouthpiece, and you'll see there's no spring. I don't use a spring with my Atmos RX. They don't even have a spring with the Atmos Junior, and you really don't need it. You get better hits without the spring. The spring really just gets in the way. It pushes the herbs onto the coil so much so that only the herbs touching the coil are going to burn at that point, and everything else around it just sort of heats up but doesn't burn. So it just clogs the chamber more easily. You don't get the best hits, so I would recommend always removing the spring from the mouthpiece. That's going to help you not clog your device, and you're going to get better hits. Finally, I just want to say, if your chamber's clogged, that's one thing, but if you're not getting good airflow, that's mostly going to be a problem with the mouthpiece and the filter. So that's what you need to clean and pay more attention to if airflow is an issue for you. So now let's just talk about what you need to clean it and the steps used. I have some high percentage isopropyl rubbing alcohol. You want to make sure you have a high percent. I would recommend 91% or higher. Anything lower and you're going to have more water in the solution, and obviously you don't want to mix water into your heating chamber. You want it to really be a high percentage of rubbing alcohol. Then you're going to need a container, just something to store the alcohol in. So anything works there, something that you don't really need. And for cleaning out the filters and mouthpieces, you want to take a paper clip and you want to get to the tip there, so undo it a little bit, and you can use this to poke through the holes of the filter and kind of unclog it that way. You can also use a tack or anything that you can just puncture the holes back through the filter. You also want to have a few Q-tips on hand for before and after you soak your heating chambers. And this is just going to be for polishing out the chamber, before and after you soak it. Finally, you're gonna need a paper towel, just because everything's gonna have to sit and dry for a bit. So just to keep things clean, just put a paper towel down so everything can dry off. Okay, so let's start with actually cleaning these devices. So take your rubbing alcohol and pour some into the containers you have. Then take your mouthpiece. You can take your Q-tip and sort of start to polish off a little bit. And you can see I'm getting some of the clutter out, but not all of it. So let's go ahead and set that inside of rubbing alcohol, and that'll soak. And then the mouthpiece, if you take a look, it's also gotten pretty clogged. Again, you can start with your Q-tip, try to clean it off a little bit, but we're gonna need a lot more work here. So let's let that soak as well. Now the same principle applies for your Yocan devices. This one isn't quite as clogged, but just for demonstration purposes, you just drop it right inside your rubbing alcohol there. For the 94F, it's probably easiest to just remove the heating coil beforehand and drop it in. And then for the filter, you don't really need to worry about the glass tube or anything, I wouldn't think. So you can take the filter and just, set it down inside like that so it can soak. Just make sure the entire filter is submerged. So I'm gonna let these soak for a good while, 5-10 minutes could be good for devices that aren't extremely clogged. 30 minutes to an hour could be what you need if your device is extremely clogged. So just let it sit for a bit and then I'll get back and show you some of the rest of the steps. Okay guys, I'm back and I think you can already see that the rubbing alcohol has done a lot to clear out some of the gunk inside of our heating chambers and mouthpieces. So now I'm going to take them both out and, sort of shake it off, give it a good, shake it around a bit, let a lot of that alcohol get out. You want to just let it evaporate faster and then set it down on the paper towel to dry. Do the same with your heating chambers. I'm going to set that down, do the same with the Yocan. Just place everything down. And sort of see, a lot of the excess buildup is kind of cleared away. There's a lot of ash in that heating chamber. One thing you can start off doing now is take a Q-tip and you can go ahead and wipe out the heating chamber again. So hopefully everything's loosened up in there pretty well and it's much easier to clear out. Keep letting that dry. I want to talk about the mouthpieces now. So if you're having trouble with airflow, take it apart. There's our filter. Let's start with the metal mesh filter. Go with me. That'd be easier. You can use the packing tool to just knock that out. Really what you're seeing is, those holes. There's no excess buildup there, so that's gonna be good for your airflow. And then same thing with this ceramic piece. That's also a part of your airflow. So take your paper clip again, just get it inside each hole and sort of clear it out good, because the metal mesh filter and the ceramic filter are both gonna have to be clear for you to get good airflow from the mouthpiece to the heating chamber. So if either of these is clogged, you're not gonna get a good hit. So once that's all cleared out, you can even place this back on and just sort of blow it out. On the top, if you get, decent airflow, breathe in, breathe out. If it feels fine, then it's probably good to go. Continue letting all of that dry out. Here's our 94F heating coil, so you can see, look at that, just the dry Q-tip. All of that buildup is now a thing of the past. So that's why I say to just go ahead and take the heating coil off for the 94F. It just makes it easier to kind of get at it and clean it. Gently brush the heating coil. You don't want to be too rough on this thing. And that is clean, good as new. The Mac wasn't too dirty to begin with, but I just wanted to demonstrate that it too can be cleaned this way. And again, just clean all of that out. So same goes for, our 94F filter. You can wipe this off. That comes off really nicely with the Q-tip. But still, I would go through with your paper clip and just clear out those holes. Now there are magnets inside, so if you're not getting all the way through, it could just be because you're running into one of the magnets. So as long as the paper clip is getting mostly through, those holes, you should be fine. And again, you can just take your device, blow in and out, see if you're getting good airflow. That's coming out perfectly, so that's good to go. And finally, important step after you've cleaned everything off, the next thing you really want to do, it should already be pretty dry, but you definitely don't want to be taking any hits immediately after you've done this, because there's still going to be some rubbing alcohol left somewhere inside there. So what I do is, with nothing inside the chamber, just go ahead and light it up, and you should hear like a slight hiss, and you might even see some vapor. That's going to be vapor from the alcohol. So once the hiss is gone and once the vapor's gone, then you know that all of the rubbing alcohol is cleared out, and you can go ahead and load the chamber again with some herbs or wax. Same applies for the Yocan. Hook it back up without anything in the chamber. Just go ahead and light it up. So you can hear a bit of hiss, tiny bit of leftover alcohol in there. But I think for the most part, this is good to go. So that is essentially it. We've cleaned our mouthpieces, we've cleaned out the filters, and the heating chambers are all doing much better than they were before. So all you needed was some rubbing alcohol, again, high percent. Don't do anything lower because there's gonna be some water in there and you don't wanna have water in your devices. Q-tip, paper clip, and if you clean it regularly every day, hopefully this won't be too much of a problem. But if it gets excessively clogged, take these steps and you should be good to go. So hopefully this helps you guys out, and always check out our website, www.vapevetstore.com, for these products. And you can also stay tuned to this channel, subscribe if you want more tips and reviews. We'll always post new videos and try to answer any questions. We're going to take those questions and make more, tips and videos like this. So keep it going, and we'll see you guys next time.